saved his temporary employers from disappearing out the Football League and into almost certain financial oblivion. Back in 1999, Carlisle United, managed by Nigel Pearson, were fighting to stay in the Football League. Carlisle's finances were precarious with a capital P that season, leading to a scenario where, with 3 games to go, they had to ask the FA to sanction an emergency loan deal to bring in a goalkeeper. Swindon Town's Jimmy Glass arrived at the club. His efforts in his first 2 games earned the Cumbrians 2 draws. Those vital points meant that Carlisle went into their final game of the Division 3 season, now League 2, needing to beat mid-table Plymouth Argyle in front of their own fans and hope their relegation rival Scarborough didn't win against Peterborough at home. The game at the McCain Stadium finished 1-1, and with the same scoreline at Brunton Park deep into injury time, Scarborough's fans invaded the pitch en masse, believing their Football League status was secure, convinced they'd done enough to stay up. However, there'd be one more plot twist. Carlisle won a corner in the dying seconds, and up came Jimmy Glass. In one of those you couldn't make it up moments, Glass scored from a rebounded header and was promptly swamped by teammates and thousands of fans who quite simply couldn't believe what they'd just witnessed. As for Jimmy Glass, he became an overnight celebrity, but he never played for Carlisle again, and his playing career never really kicked on after that defining moment. He took on various jobs outside of football before finding his way back into the sport as player liaison officer at Eddie Howe's Bournemouth, and most recently the general manager at non-league Wimborne. Not the fairy tale ending to one of the most Hollywood moments in football, but the name Jimmy Glass will live on forever as the scorer of that goal, arguably the most important in any club's history.
All right, fans, here we go with the main event of the evening.
Yeah, good evening and welcome to the Sports Bar on talkSPORT. I'm Jamie O'Hara. Alongside me tonight, the legend. That is Rory Jennings. No Jason Cundy, because he went to Bologna, give it the biggin about how nice the food was, and he's got food poisoning. An absolute stinker from Cundy. So if you had any holiday disasters, I want to hear from some of you. 03 717 22 33 Not only a huge weekend of football to get through, but also massive news in the boxing world. Jake Paul is going to fight Anthony Joshua in a month's time. We have another British heavyweight champion tonight, as Fabio Worley as well has now taken Usyk's vacated belt. Could be another option for AJ next year. But we want to talk about the fight between Joshua and Jake Paul. Is this fight dangerous? Should he be getting in a ring with Anthony Joshua and Jake Paul? You can have your say. 03 717 22 33 We'll talk about England as well. Same old story. The British media outing Jude Bellingham. Do we have to always build up our superstars to knock them down? You can have your say. Is Jude Bellingham a team player, and should he start at the World Cup? Plenty of action to get through. We'll talk about Ireland as well later on in the show. But get involved in the show. We can't do it without you. 03 717 22 33 Right, Rory.
Mr. O'Hara, how are you?
I'm all right, mate. How are you?
Yeah, good, mate. Feeling good?
I'm feeling good. Thanks for filling in for Cundy.
Mate, I feel sorry for him. He's got food poisoning.
No, I don't feel sorry for him in the slightest. He gave it the big un all week. We had Adam Richmond on talking about man versus food. We're going to sort you out of Bologna. We're going to go to all these lovely restaurants. He's giving it the big un about Italian food and how nice it is. And he cancelled tonight. He's
got food poisoning in Bologna. Yeah, poor
Great.
Spoken to him. Is he all right, or is he actually like in a bad way?
Well, I spoke to him earlier. Sent me a voice note, and he was in a
In a bad way.
Well, he said he was struggling.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, both ends.
Poor Cundy.
Both ends.
Oh, that's all he needs, isn't it,
You
Cundy?
know what? I'm so happy that's happened to him because he was doing my head in all last week about...
What was he? Really flash about all the restaurants he's going to go to?
He was giving it massive.
All these, like, incredible restaurants, incredibly, like...
Italian food, how beautiful. Trattoria,
modern
Papastelli.
cuisine.
Talking about he's going to go and order because he's been learning Italian for 6 months and he gets food poisoning.
That is unreal, isn't it?
Shambles.
That is unreal, Mr. Cundy.
Well, we've got you in, and we've got loads to talk about. Let's start with the Anthony Joshua one because it's the big news coming out today in the sporting world, and it would only be right to talk about it. He's going to fight Jake Paul. What do you make of this whole thing? What's your take?
I mean, look, there's loads of ways of looking at this. In terms of a sporting contest, it doesn't really matter. This isn't what it's about. Anthony Joshua needs a warm-up fight. He needs a warm-up fight. Hopefully, touch wood, it's a warm-up fight because maybe one day we're going to get the fight that we've been dreaming of, which is Anthony Joshua versus Tyson Fury.
Mm-hmm.
So say that's going to happen in the future. That would be a dream come true. He needs a warm-up fight before then. He needs to keep fresh. He needs to keep on his toes. So he needs to fight somebody who he's definitely going to beat. What difference does it make if that is Jake Paul or somebody who's ranked 78th in the world?
Well, look, money talks, right? Obviously, there's an incredible amount of money going on about it. And I know, look, I've heard people talk about it, that the warm-up fight, he was going to fight a nobody. He wasn't going to get any money out of it. Jake Paul becomes available and wants to fight Anthony Joshua. I'm the same as you. You know, it's a no-brainer for Anthony Joshua. Yeah. You go in there, smash him to bits. You should probably win inside the first 2 rounds. You knock him out, and he moves on. It's not even a warm-up fight, really, is it? What's he getting out of it? You say he needs a warm-up fight. He wants to get back in there, get the gloves on, go, 6, 7 rounds and have a fight, and then he warms himself up, gets back in the ring. I mean, really and truthfully, if this goes more than 3 rounds, I would be incredible.
It's more about
I'd be amazed.
No, what I'm thinking is, I'm thinking of training. I think the fight itself is incidental because Anthony Joshua is an incredibly talented boxer who is going to pretty much demolish anyone that he faces at this point, because this fight is a fight that is simply about him feeling fresh again. So he might as well feel fresh against someone who's going to generate 80 million quid for him rather than someone who's going to generate 10 million quid.
No, but it's not a test, though, is it? It's not a test for Anthony Joshua, this.
No, it's
it's a Mickey Mouse fight, let's be honest.
No, it doesn't make... For Anthony Joshua, I think I can rationalise it. If I was Joshua, if I was in Joshua's camp, I could totally make this make sense. I don't think it makes sense for Jake Paul.
Like, I think it's dangerous.
Jake Paul got beat by the Fury that was in Love Island. The Fury brother that went into Love Island beat Jake Paul. Yeah. And now he's facing one of the most talented boxers to have come out of this country in the last 50 years. Like, this is bad. This is bad for Jake Paul because I think that he actually believes his own hype. I've seen him crowing about beating Mike Tyson and things like that. You're like, mate, you lost to Tommy Fury. You can't fight Anthony Joshua. What are you doing? But, he fancies himself, so...
Look, he fancies himself, but there is this kind of, this thing where, you can, I'd fancy myself to go and play Premier League football again, but I know that I can't.
Yeah.
In your head, you go, I can go out there. But actually, when you get out there, you realise that you're not at the level anymore, and he's never been at the level, Jake Paul, and he never will be at Anthony Joshua's level.
No.
The fact that he can go in there and the guys who are putting this all together and the fight and the sanctioned fight, it's not an exhibition bout, it's a proper fight. Anthony Joshua is going to go in and clean him out. Right? Yeah. He could genuinely hurt him, right? Badly. We don't know what type of punch Jake Paul can take because he's never took a punch like that.
No. I don't know. There's real jeopardy here. This is what I mean. For Jake Paul, I think that this could be an awakening moment for him. It's all very well playing at being a boxer, but you're in the ring against an Anthony Joshua who's not quite in his prime, but he's certainly bordering on his prime. You're not fighting him in the way that you fought Mike Tyson.
No.
You're fighting an Anthony Joshua who is capable of going in a ring still with someone like Tyson Fury. He's capable of being in a ring with anyone. They're
going to serve this fight up, Rory. Like, it's a warm-up fight for Anthony Joshua. He wants to get in the ring, because we want to see AJ, fight Fury next year. Well, if that's the case, Anthony Joshua's warm-up fight for Tyson Fury's Jake Paul.
Yes.
Like, how is that? That's not doing him any good. The only reason they're doing this fight is because he's going to earn, 60, 70, whatever, 100 million, right? Whatever it is. And fair play to him if they can get it. But that is not a warm-up fight to go in against Tyson Fury.
But whoever he were to fight at this stage, he batters. Whoever it is, it's a walk. It's a walk over whoever it is.
Fighting the guy who beat Dave Allen. What's the
Medov.
Yeah. So that's a fight that you can almost respect. You'd expect Joshua to go in there, but this guy has fought Dave Allen. He's beat him. He's a proper fighter. He's a heavyweight. He knows that you go 6-7 rounds, you feel him out. You've got the jeopardy of him being a heavyweight fighter who can, potentially hurt him.
But maybe
I get it.
He wants. Maybe he just wants this. What effectively what the Jake Paul? Jake Paul. This is a glamorized. This is a glamorized sparring session for Anthony Joshua. But it's a glamorized sparring session that will generate huge amounts of money. And do you know what, Jamie? There is here what we are getting is an insight into the way of the world. When you talk about the biggest fighters, you and I, look, everyone who's like a sports fan in the truest sense, we always see it through the lens of the most talented. The biggest fighters in the world generally are the ones that we see as being most talented. But I don't like what I'm about to say, but it is true. On some definition, Jake Paul is one of the biggest boxers in the world. He is the man that is capable of filling arenas. He is the man that has, a cross-platform thing of over 700 million followers. If your job as a boxer, and part of your job is this, right? The reason why Anthony Joshua is in a league of his own, incomparable to anyone, is because of his ability to fill stadiums.
Yeah.
He doesn't fill arenas. A lot of boxers can't fill York Hall.
Yeah.
A lot of boxers can't fill sport. Jake Paul has the ability to fill stadiums. And if you look at it through the lens of who can put the traction and can fill stadiums and can make sure that there is interest, Jake Paul, Anthony Joshua are the two biggest fighters on the planet, which is a ridiculous sentence, but it's true.
No, but I don't know if this, look, you say it tarnished. He's got nothing to prove, Anthony Joshua. He's been and done it. He's been a 2-time world champion. But, we look at legacies and we look at the fact that he's going to go and have a fight with Jake Paul, YouTube. Anthony Joshua, as you said, he's still the biggest Paul in boxing.
Yeah,
right?
No doubt.
He's still the biggest Paul.
No doubt.
The fact that he's going to fight a guy who is a YouTuber, I just don't know if I can buy into it, of it being like something I really want to watch.
But will you watch it? Just be totally honest now. The fight's on. Are you going to watch it? And if you don't watch it,
I probably will.
Okay, exactly.
I think I probably will, just because I like watching Anthony Joshua.
And I guarantee what you'll do. Say you don't watch it. Say you don't commit to actually watching. I guarantee that you will watch the knockout. I guarantee that you will have seen that. I wasn't particularly interested. When Anthony Joshua fought Ngannou? But that knockout, that brutal, I think it was in the second round.
Yeah.
It was one of the most devastating finishes.
Yeah.
It's one of them where Joshua hit him and Ngannou's legs went from under him.
Gone through.
It looks like you could fall and do your leg up as well.
Yeah, he's gone right through him. If Jake Paul gets that punch in the face, he's in big trouble.
He's in big trouble.
He's in big trouble.
And I think that jeopardy, just that sentence that you said there, suddenly people's interest is spiked. People are suddenly looking. People are going to be watching it. And I think that the purist...
Do you think there's anyone out there who thinks Jake Paul can actually get...
No, literally no. Oh, yeah, there's one man. There's one man that definitely thinks Jake Paul can win, and that man is Jake Paul. He's wrong. He's wrong, and I don't think he realises quite how wrong he is. But that's why it's a fascinating watch, and that's why...
It's not a fascinating watch.
It's fascinating. Whether you believe...
Remember we hyped up the Jake Paul Mike Tyson thing. We saw Mike Tyson, warming up in his warm-up sparring sessions. You're going, God, Mike Tyson looks all right. And he gets in the ring and he's a shell of himself.
Hey,
and
Jamie,
of course he was. But we got sold the dream.
I'll tell you why it's fascinating, right? Not necessarily for the reasons that you want something to be fascinating. This isn't a fascinating story, a fascinating sports story in the way that Arsenal versus Man City for the title this year is fascinating. That's a true sporting story. This is fascinating in a different way. This captures you in a different way, but it does still capture you. And that's why it's happening. That's why we can be quite sneery about it if we want. And for the boxing purists, this is hateful. But we'll all watch it. And that effectively means...
It's like Lionel Messi going to turn up and playing at Baller League.
Yeah. Would you watch that? Yeah. Would you?
Probably would.
Probably would.
Do you know what I mean, though? I mean, it's so ridiculous that it's like, come on, is this really happening?
It can't do Anthony Joshua's legacy any mischief, can it? It can't actually have... Anthony Joshua's legacy will always be... It will always be Klitschko. That will be the moment, won't it? If you think about Anthony Joshua, if you ask 100 people's opinion on Anthony Joshua, everybody goes back to that day against Klitschko. And that isn't touched.
No, he's had some huge fights, but this one Look, I get it. There's money to be made. He wants to fight, but I don't know. I think it's dangerous. I'll say it again. I think it's a dangerous fight for Jake Paul. Anthony Joshua, there's no way in a million years he gets beat, but I don't know if he gets anything out of it apart from 100 million quid. And if that's what he needs, does he need 100 million? Fair play to the lad. But I'm just not sure if we should be, really bigging up this fight as a proper contest, because it is ridiculous. We're going to talk about it. We've obviously got some football as well. Bellingham is a big talking point. But I'm just going to go to Chris. He's an Arsenal fan. All right, Chris?
Is you good?
Hello, mate.
Right,
how are
boys?
you?
Yeah, not bad. You all right?
Yeah, I'm good, matey. I'm good. You want to talk about Jake Paul Joshua?
This is the biggest disgrace boxing match I've ever heard in my life. All you have to do is show this clown, Jake Paul, the Ngannou fight, and let's be honest, what's the point? If I agree with you, Jamie, what you said at the start of the show. If this goes past 3 rounds, then this is a disgrace. I'm sorry. Pathetic. It's pathetic. Seriously. It's a money scheme. Honestly, it's absolutely disgraceful.
But Jake Paul, obviously, in his head, he believes he can win. He's come out and said he believes he can win.
He's a clown, Jamie. It's as simple as that. He's a clown. Just like his brother, Logan Paul, he's a clown as well. They're both clowns and they should stick to YouTube. You've got the other brother in WWE, by the way. Yeah?
Yeah.
And then you've got this idiot that... and you've got this idiot going to fight AJ. Come on. And AJ should be ashamed of himself as well. Why don't he go fight Wilder? That's a proper warm-up fight.
That's not warm-up.
Do you know what I mean?
Is it? That's a proper
fight. Yeah,
that's not
no,
warm-up.
Is there anything in the theory, Chris? He just needs to get the blood flowing again. Just needs to get back in the ring.
To fight a YouTuber? Are you for real? Jake Paul's a clown.
I'm not a clown.
Okay, but here's a question for you, Chris. Chris, say you're in the boxing world, right?
Mm.
Right, you need a warm-up fight. You need a little sparring session before you go and get the big one. Right, you're in it.
Yeah.
Right, I'm going to offer you an absolute nobody. You're going to get $1 million for it. But you're on the undercard.
Listen.
No one cares. No one cares about it. You're going to go in there, but he's a heavyweight and he could hurt you. I'm going to give you $1 million for it. I'm going to have a little spar up for eight rounds. You're probably going to win. Right, or I'm going to give you an amateur boxer. But I'm going to pay you £100 million. What fight are you taking?
Well, when you listen, I get it. Yeah, the money.
What fight are you taking?
I'll probably take the 100 mil. Yeah, but at the end of the day, this is AJ. He's a 2-time world heavyweight champion. He's fought the likes of Usyk, Dubois, and now he's going into a fight against this clown. Come on, man. It's perfect. And I'm not gonna. If you think I'm getting up at 4 or 5 in the morning to watch that, you're having a laugh. No
I'm
chance.
not a clown.
He is a clown.
I'm not a clown.
I'm just not having it. It's money. It's all about money. That's all it is. And this ain't a warm up for me. Ain't a warm up for me. It's not.
It's not a warm up.
It's not a warm up for. No, I don't think so. It's not.
No.
Do you think this fight should go ahead, Jay? Seriously?
I think it's dangerous. I do. I genuinely. I think it's dangerous for Jake Paul. I do.
Yeah.
And
100%.
you can have blind. Tunnel vision that you think you're good enough to fight one of the best boxers in the last decade.
Thinks he's good enough. Do you know what he's done already? He's apologised to the UK for taking down one of our boxing heroes. He's actually put an apology out to the UK. Sorry about this to the British Isles. He's already believing
it's a dangerous fight. I think he could get hurt, but only he can make that decision. Only experts can make that decision. The experts in his camp and the people who are training him, the people who are with him every day, are allowing him to get in the ring and make it happen. So, if he does get hurt, they're to blame as much as Jake Paul is. Chris, thanks for your call. We'll take some calls on this. You want to have your say? Do you think this is dangerous? Is there anyone out there who actually genuinely thinks that Jake Paul could win this fight? 03 717 22 3344.
I go to bed with O'Hara and Cundy.
You are listening to the Sports Bar on talkSPORT. Me, Jamie O'Hara, and Rory Jennings. Still to come, we're asking what club would best fit Anton Semenyo this summer. There are rumours online. He has a minimum fee release clause in January for £65 million. You can have your say. We'll take some calls on that later on in the show. We have to start with the breaking news today, though. British heavyweight star Anthony Joshua will take on YouTuber turned boxer Jake Paul. Here's heavyweight boxer Dave Allen weighing in with his thoughts.
It'll bring a lot of eyes to the sport, of course. Jake Paul's following brings a lot of eyes to the sport, and Jake Paul's done a lot of good for boxing as well. You can't say that he hasn't, and can't say that he's not treated the sport with a lot of respect as well, the way that he prepares. But one of the best heavyweights of our generation boxing, someone of this standard, which is not a bad standard when we're talking boxing. He's a decent little fighter, good little novice. He's really bad for the sport, and if anything happens to Jake Paul, it's catastrophic for the game.
That was Dave Allen there speaking about it. Well, I asked if anyone thinks that Jake Paul can actually win. Daniel, the Newcastle fans, phoned us up. Right, Dan?
Hello, mate. How are you doing?
I'm all right, Dan. What do you think he can win, Jake Paul?
I think it's a possibility. I think it's one of those where no one is backing Jake Paul currently. You've seen him in the ring. You can see that he's got some knockout power. And I also believe people don't look at Joshua's last few fights. He looks stiff. I think he also looks a little bit afraid at times. And I don't think it's going to be as big of a landslide as people feel. I feel like there's an overhand right that could easily land, and I wouldn't predict that Joshua's chin can last that.
But surely, Dan, even if it all goes incredibly well for Paul, he's not going to land on Joshua, is he? Joshua's going to be far too skilled in evading whatever Jake Paul could throw at him.
Because I don't believe he's an evading fighter. I think he's one of those fighters that is extremely powerful to where a fighter is simply afraid. The problem is that all of the pressure's on Joshua at the moment. So Jake Paul, if he gets knocked out in 12 seconds, he should get knocked out. The problem is as soon as Joshua starts taking damage, all of a sudden he's thinking, the world is watching me, I'm a professional fighter, and I'm getting beat off a YouTuber. All of the pressure is on Joshua, and that's a lot that can weigh on a man.
Just Jake Paul can't damage him, though. Like
people can damage him, though. He's went down.
No, people can.
World
people
champions.
can. Yeah. No, like Alexander Usyk can, Daniel Dubois can, but these are supreme athletes. Jake
completely correct. Yes, there's a difference in someone who's been boxing their entire life versus a YouTuber. I completely understand that, but you can't deny that Jake Paul has power. I think it's one of his only attributes. I think he's a very poor boxer, but what he does have is a weird technique where you don't know what
he's got power. How do we know he's got power?
He's knocked people out.
What Ben Askren and Tyron Woodley?
Yeah.
Tyron Woodley was like, arguably one of the best UFC fighters there's ever been.
Mate. Like,
no, mate. I'm not suggesting that. I'm not suggesting that he's going to go in there and walk Joshua all over. But you can't deny that he has lights out power. It's just something
I would deny that. I would deny that he has that kind of power.
Yeah, in an amateur boxing ring, fine, but not against a two-time world champion. We're talking about here.
Again, I understand the contempt in what I'm saying, and I do see how it is completely stupid thinking YouTuber could break Anthony Joshua. But the thing is that he's going to be training for this fight. Joshua has all of the world looking at him thinking you should walk him over. If it gets 2 rounds, 3 rounds inside, I think Joshua loses. Yeah.
You think he gets beat?
I mean, I think the pressure will get to him. I think if he loses to Jake Paul, he's the embarrassment to boxing. And if you get inside 3 rounds where you've not put him away like everyone thinks you will, all of a sudden that pressure to finish the fight as he should is going to gain and gain and gain.
Is there any truth in this, Jamie? Can you see a world where Dan's theory is basically this geezer can punch and he therefore has a puncher's chance? I think he's got no chance. Like slim, if none.
No chance.
None. Literally none.
No chance.
No. It's one of them, innit? I honestly, without going like extreme, Dan, I think Anthony Joshua, if he could only use one hand, wins the fight. I honestly do.
This is the thing, and I love Joshua. You know, he's arguably the pride of Britain when it comes to boxing. He's a great fighter. But could you say he's past his best? Could you say that he's been tested too many times? The thing that it relates to me is when you look at Silva in the UFC, as soon as he got knocked out, his chin became glass. And I think that's the same with Joshua. I don't think he can take a punch anymore. I think he's one of those people where it's almost he damages way too easy now. And it's one of those things where I think when you're a boxer and you've had a few defeats and you've had a few lights out moments, where all of a sudden it's easier and more susceptible to happen. And I think that's kind of where Joshua's at the moment. He's getting on a bit. Yeah.
All right. Dan, look, thanks for your call. We found one who thinks Jake Paul can win. Let's ask Paul. He's a Man United fan. All right, Paul?
Hiya, how you doing?
I'm all right, Paul. What do you make of this fight actually going to go ahead?
I rang in the other day and you guys were having a right go at me because I said Jake Paul would find it an easier fight. Even though I'm a Joshua fan, I don't know if you remember, but I rang in.
Yeah, go on. How can you say it's an easier fight for Jake Paul?
So his own promoter said it today. So he was interviewed on Sky Sports and he said that it's an easier fight because Gervonta Davis would be way too quicker for him and Joshua's going to be slower and he's got more of a chance. So his own promoter said that today.
No, but Anthony Joshua's a two-time world champion who can seriously hurt you. He's a world heavyweight champion. It's a little bit different from taking a shot from Gervonta Davis.
Yeah, and that's why,
taking some quick combo. What would you rather take? A couple of quick combos in your face, or an absolute haymaker from Anthony Joshua that's lights out?
Jamie, he's going to get absolutely ironed out.
He could punch him as well.
Yeah, but he can't. He can't. He won't lay a glove on him. Like I think Jake Paul's going to get into such a state because he's won some fights, right? He's fought Tyron Woodley. He's obviously had a go on Mike Tyson when Mike Tyson is far past his best. But I think he's going to get into the ring and he's going to look across from him and he's going to see a 6'6" Adonis practically in his prime. And he's going to suddenly realise that he's bitten off more than he could chew. Eddie Hearn said it today. Eddie Hearn said, you better be careful what you wish for. And this is the fight that
He still get paid, though.
Pardon?
He's still
going to get paid, though. He doesn't. Look, he's got nothing to lose.
Well, he has got something to lose. How about his life?
Around, right?
How about his life, Paul?
Never chew food again.
Yeah, but he's taken that. Look, he's been training for years.
So don't say he's got nothing to lose. He's got everything to lose.
No, if he gets knocked out, look, it's a heavyweight. I completely understand where you come from, but every boxer who goes in the ring knows what's on the line, right? He's just getting paid handsomely for it, whereas others probably don't.
But most boxers get put in a ring with someone on their level, right? That's what you do matchups. You make a fight which is an even matchup, or some of them you think you can go in there, you can handle it, or you're there or thereabouts. This is the most ridiculous matchup ever in boxing history, ever.
It's the easiest and biggest payday in boxing history.
Yeah, of course someone sanctions it because everyone wants the money.
Right?
There has never been.
So it's going to happen whether we like it or not.
But it's happening. But in the history of boxing, I think Anthony Joshua's pulled a blinder here, by the way. In the history of boxing, there has never been a bigger payday for more easy work. In the history of boxing, this is the easiest work for the most amount of money ever. And fair play to Anthony Joshua for securing it.
Paul, do you actually think he could win the fight? Jake Paul?
Easily. My 12-year-old's with me thinks Josh is to win.
Look, I think that it's a pointless fight because he's already fought like Usyk and stuff. So I think he's just doing it for the money and all the pressure's on him, to be fair.
Would you want 100 million?
Yeah.
Good lad.
Paul, thanks for your call. Keep them coming in. We're going to carry on taking these. What do you make of this nonsense that is going on in the boxing world? 03 717 22 33 44. You're listening to the Sports Bar on talkSPORT. Me, Jamie O'Hara, and Rory Jennings. Reminder, talkSPORT is now on your smart TV. Just grab the app on the Android TV and Google TV. We're even on Prime Video. talkSPORT live on your screen as well as your speakers. We are going to be asking whether Jude Bellingham's place in the England squad is confirmed for next summer. What did you make of all the hype around him? Craig Hope done an interview saying that he was moaning about being subbed off, and there's a lot of talk about it. Are we hyping up our stars just to knock them down as usual? 03717223344. But AJ versus Jake Paul confirmed December 19th in Miami. Here's Simon Jordan reacting to news this morning, suggesting that the sport of boxing is ruining its own reputation.
I think boxing damages itself left, right and centre, but I think the reputability and the credibility of some of these boxing sanctioning bodies is poor anyway. But I think it does get damaged.
Even if it's an exhibition fight, which it might well be.
Well, then what's the jeopardy in that? If it's an exhibition fight, which it shouldn't be, if it's a proper fight, then Jake Paul is going to get demolished. He's going to get demolished.
Well,
yeah, obviously that was before this fight actually got confirmed. It's not an exhibition fight. This is a proper fight, and you know they're going to be going in there to knock each other out. Let's go to Mike, who's a Liverpool fan. All right, Mike.
Hi boys, how are you doing?
I'm all right, Mike. Are you?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. Just driving home from work.
Go on, what do you make of this fiasco?
So there's a couple of things. I just think, obviously, Joshua's ability is quite limited. Obviously, he's got big punching power, but really boxing-wise, he isn't great. So on that level, there is a chance that Jake Paul could create an upset because of the pressure that comes with this type of fight. But
Mike, we talk about pressure, though, Mike. Right? It's like people keep talking about pressure. He won the Olympics, Anthony Joshua. He knows how to deal with pressure.
This isn't pressure either.
Like, he's had loads of pressure fights before. He's a world champion.
There's no pressure on him here. This is so easy for him. It's the easiest day at the office he will ever have.
I think the pressure comes from the type of fight that it is. If you look at the Tyson and Ngannou fight, you saw how Tyson struggled with Ngannou, and he was supposedly supposed to wipe the floor.
I know, but look at what did Anthony Joshua do to Ngannou?
Yeah, I get that, and obviously that's why I'm swaying towards the idea that Joshua's just he is gonna cause him some serious damage. If he does hit him and he hits him proper, he's going down, and I very much doubt he's going to get up for a good few minutes. So that in its own sense is like, it's too dangerous for this type of fighter in Jake Paul. He's very much an amateur fighter, but he only believes that he wants to win this fight from a business point of view, that he's just selling it as that so that he can make as much money as possible. I don't think he actually believes that he will win this fight.
I think Jake Paul believes he can win. I do genuinely. I believe Jake Paul thinks he can genuinely win this fight.
He's got confidence. He's the most confident man in the world. Like, idiotically confident. But I'm with you, Jamie. I think that he thinks he can win. He's already talking like he can win. He's already talking like he's belittling Anthony Joshua's record. So disrespectful already. Imagine what's going to happen for the next month.
Just imagine, Mike. Right, all of a sudden, Jake Paul, he finally gets in that ring with Anthony Joshua, and Rory makes a really good point. When he stands in that ring all of a sudden and he realises,
6'6",
I am fighting Anthony Joshua in a proper fight in a ring with half the world watching.
He's going to know.
He's going to realise very quickly.
He's bitten off more than he could chew. Yeah.
This ain't no sparring session.
Yeah, 100%. Like, I'm not disagreeing with him on that point. I just think that I really don't like the lad, and I think, you know, he is very deluded. So I can see why you believe that he thinks he will win the fight. But from that alone, when he does get in the ring, he's going to look at it and he will bottle it. Like, when you're standing squared up with somebody like that, you can't honestly believe that you think you're going to beat him on the day. Like, he doesn't have the ability to do that, and obviously.
Yeah, but I've not been at the level of, you know, Anthony Joshua in terms of football ability, but I remember standing on a football pitch and playing against Steven Gerrard and Paul Scholes. And when I stand there looking at him thinking, right, I'm gonna run all over him today. I'm gonna run all over Gerrard. I'm gonna go through him. I'm gonna go through the back of him. I can take on Steven Gerrard. within 5 minutes, I realised
levels.
There's levels to this game, right? And I'm happy to admit that you're not. There are levels to.
But you were
talent.
a Premier League footballer.
Yeah.
You were a Premier League footballer competing against another Premier League footballer. Obviously, you're talking about icons here, but you were a Premier League footballer. Jake Paul is not a boxer. Jake Paul is going in with one of the best heavyweights of the past 50 years, and he's going to get absolutely destroyed, if not damaged. Like, that's the only... Look, I've got no issue with Anthony Joshua taking his fight. I rate him taking it.
You think it tarnishes his legacy?
No, not at all. If somebody is offering you 80 million quid, who's been gobbing off and wants you to fight them, and you are going to earn 80 million pounds in the process, how can you possibly walk away from that? Why should you turn your nose up at that opportunity? It's a great opportunity for Anthony Joshua, who is a sportsman but also a businessman. I think Anthony Joshua is making the right decision. I think Jake Paul is making a terrible decision.
But if he does get knocked out, right, and he does, but he's all right, right?
That's fine. But I think the damage, the potential. Anthony Joshua, if you watch that knockout against Francis Ngannou again, just watch it, right? There is a moment where Francis Ngannou is hit so hard that it's like a train has hit him, and his leg buckles from under him, and as he falls, his knee could be under him.
Yeah.
It isn't. It pops the right way. It falls the right way, and everything's fine. But there's one moment where you think he's going to collapse. All that body weight is going to land on his own leg. That would be horrific. But I think it could be even more damaging than that. Imagine an Anthony Joshua punch hitting you, and you're not even a fighter. It's lasting.
Could
damage.
kill you.
It's lasting damage. Yeah.
Yeah. That's my concern about the whole boxing world buying into it and talking about money, and we all sit here and we go, oh, it's all money, and they're all going to make 80 million quid and all that. I mean, Anthony Joshua probably close to being a billionaire. Everyone wants money, but Jake Paul's probably not far off being a billionaire either, right? In terms of the money that he's got. Does he really want to put his life in jeopardy when you walk in a ring with a two-time world champion? How much money do you need? Let's ask Steve. He's a Liverpool fan. Steve?
Hello.
Right, Steve.
Hello, chap.
Hello, mate. Oh, he's gone. What happened there? All right, let's go to London. He's a Chelsea fan. London?
Hey, good evening, gentlemen. How are you?
I'm all right, matey. How are you?
Yeah, I'm glad, man. It's nice to hear Rory at the three-point lane.
Thank you very much, London. It's great to talk to you as well, sir.
Oh, lovely. Jamie, man, you're a man. Listen, gentlemen, look, listen, gentlemen, look, seriously, I just hope AJ is not listening to this. All these people saying Jake Paul's going to win. He'll walk in that ring. He'll walk in that ring and take one glance at AJ and realize this is a different world, I've been playing around all along. This is, that look, because it's like, just like, you see George Foreman, you see Mike Tyson at their prime. He will see that look, and I'm telling you, he'll wish he didn't ask for this. And seriously, I just hope, if it goes ahead, I just hope AJ sends this clown away. We don't see him again. Stay YouTubing. We don't want him in boxing. I hope he just sends him away. I don't want to see this guy. I don't want to see this guy in his sport of boxing. I love boxing. I don't want to see him. I hope he just sends him away. Give him a lesson. A quick one.
It could be that, London. I think London's on something there, Jamie. If this goes as we're predicting it will, it could be effectively the end of this. This fad that we've had, and it's interesting what's going on with boxing at the moment. This is a bit of a statement of the direction of boxing. We've seen a brilliant fight, or a big fight over the weekend, but it was due to the father's legacy. Now we're getting this huge fight, which is another crossover with YouTube.
It's not a huge fight, though, is it? It's not a huge fight. It's a fight that people are going to watch.
It's huge.
Let's not dress it up as a huge fight.
Let's explore my language. I'm happy with the language I've chosen, and let me tell you for why.
It's not a huge fight.
This fight, Anthony Joshua versus the Paul versus Joshua, is the biggest fight of the year.
It's not the biggest fight of the year. Oh, come on.
I am convinced.
It's not the biggest fight of the year.
I'm convinced.
It's not. It's not the biggest. We've had some brilliant. But Bivol fight. Conor Ben.
Jake Paul.
Chris Eubank Jr. Brilliant matchup.
I don't like this truth, but it is 100% true. My choice of language is 100% true. Huge. This is huge. Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua is huge. It is the biggest fight that will happen this year. It could be the biggest fight to have ever happened in terms of eyeballs. Jake Paul alone is worth 700 million eyeballs. It's ridiculous, the amount.
Okay, I get there's Paul. I get there's people that have eyes on him, right, because of what he's done in the world in terms of, YouTube and building himself up, promoting himself. I get all that. But we cannot sit here and say this is the biggest boxing match of the year. We can't sit here and say that.
What's your
because
definition?
It's not even a proper boxing match.
But are you talking now in the purest sense of the word? Are you talking about what boxing means, what boxing represents?
Yeah, well, that's what we're meant to be, right? It's a boxing match. We're talking about boxing.
But I'm talking about big in terms of spectacle.
Oh, it's not a spectacle. It's not. Come on. Rory, it's not. It's not a spectacle. It's a mockery of the sport, if anything. It's a mockery of boxing.
Do you see it that way? Do you think it is a bit of a mockery, this crossover stuff?
It's a joke. It's a joke. Come on.
But it is going to be huge, isn't it? It's going to be the fight of the year. Everyone's going to
Not the fight of the year. Rory, stop saying it's the fight of the year.
Okay,
it's not the fight of the year.
No, not in my opinion. Not in terms of what boxing should be. But I don't like the world that we live in. I don't want this to be true. But I don't think what I'm saying here is incorrect or even controversial, Jay. I guarantee you that the airwaves will be full of nothing but this. I guarantee you that the back pages, in fact, I guarantee you that the front pages will be full of this spectacle.
I just think it's a disgrace that we're even going to put this as even in a proper fight. And we're going to put this as a fight of the year just because some YouTubers are going to sit down and watch it on Netflix. Like, come on.
Jake Paul alone, this is just Jake Paul's poll on one platform. He has 20 million subscribers.
Who cares? Do you know what I mean?
20 million people.
I know, but who cares?
With 20 million of them, for starters.
I know, but it's like, who really cares? Like when I'm talking about proper boxing matches that you want to sit down and watch, we are talking about elite athletes at the highest level. The best of the best. Anthony Joshua is one of them. Dubois is one of them. Usyk's one of them. We go through all of the welterweights. We go through all the weights. When you look at fight, Terence Crawford, Bivol, we talk about proper matchups. You go, what a fight. And I'm going to sit here and you're going to sit there and say it's the biggest fight of the year.
It just not in terms of the sport in its truest sense. Not in terms of what we want to sport.
It makes me feel sick.
I don't disagree with you. I don't want this to be true, but it is. It's factually true.
Right.
Nobody. The two fighters are going to earn two fighters are going to split 150 million. No fight will have garnered that kind of money. No, in fact, that's 100% true. No fight will have garnered that kind of money this year. 150 million split. 150 million split. That's in a league of its own.
It makes me feel sick. We're even talking about it. 03717 22 33 You listen to the Sports Bar on talkSPORT. Me, Jamie O'Hara, Rory Jennings, going to be joined by European football expert Kev Hatchard. He's going to go over some of the major talking points from across the World Cup qualifiers. But first, AJ versus Jake Paul is confirmed. December 19th in Miami. Here's boxing trainer Dave Caldwell on tonight's kickoff show, reacting to the news.
This is Anthony Joshua. And I'm getting a lot of this on my socials where people are saying, oh, it's going to be, out, he's selling out, he's going to be scripted, this. No, it's not. You're not talking about a fighter that's retired, trying to chase back a big limelight fight, missing the stardom, the fame. You're not talking about a fighter that's blown his money. You're talking about a current, active, multi-millionaire. You're talking about a current brand. Anthony Joshua's a brand. Look at the endorsements that he's got and everything. Do you really think that he's going to throw away all his brand, AJ, to go in there and carry Jake Paul for a few rounds and just have a little shadow box in the ring? No, he's not. This is going to be, remember when he fought Francis Ngannou?
Yeah.
It's going to be like that.
Okay.
Yeah, that was Dave Caldwell talking about it. We get some calls on this. Let's go to Paul. All right, Paul?
Hey, how you doing, gents? You all right?
I'm good, Paul. What do you make of this?
Good. Yeah, do you know what? It's a funny thing. Look, boxing's always been a spectacle. It's always been a bit of a circus. And we've just had a fight where we've watched, let's face it, two Nepo babies have a fight. And it's been the biggest spectacle of the year twice. And then we're getting on someone like Jake Paul's back by going, oh, he's not a boxer, he's not this, he's not that. But he's got the whole world talking about a fight.
But Conor Benn and Chris Eubank Jr. are proper fighters.
What's that, Jake Paul?
Well, he's not.
Have you watched him?
Yeah. I've watched
Mate,
all
you
his
watch
fights.
his footwork against Tyson.
Oh, come
right, yeah?
He's fighting Mike Tyson.
Mate, I was so with you for a minute. I was so with you when you were making that point about Eubank versus Ben, Eubank Jr. versus Ben. I was with you there. I thought, you know what, the parallel that you've drawn there, there's something interesting. I thought, this guy's making a really good point. I'm interested. And then you started talking about Jake Paul's footwork versus Mike Tyson. You completely lost me.
No, I understand, guys, but do you know what I'm saying? It's just what people want to watch these days. And look, I've got two teenage sons, right?
Yeah.
And they're more excited about this fight than any other fight. I said to them the other night, I was like, "Come down, watch the Conor Benn fight," and they were like, "What? No, I don't want to." And then this one, they're like, "Dad, can we get it? Oh, it's near Christmas. It's going to be well exciting." And I'm thinking, do you know what? Like, fair play to Jake Paul for doing this, because he could, get his head literally knocked off his shoulders, right?
Yeah.
Okay? But he's stepping in there. I don't know if there's a clause where Joshua's got to do something, dance around or not. I hope not, because...
There's no way he's putting in a clause that he's going to dance around the ring and not take this seriously. Anthony Joshua is not going to do that, because Anthony Joshua is going to go in there and put him to sleep as quickly as possible.
Mate, I hope he does, and I hope it puts an end to all this, right? Yeah? But if it doesn't, what are the repercussions of it? Does this go on forever? Is there like a new hybrid of boxing now?
Well, see, Paul, this is interesting. This is the kind of thing that I thought you were going to touch on before, like the future of boxing. Yeah. This is the fight that we're discussing at the moment. The fight that we've been discussing for the previous few weeks has been, as you suggested, Conor Benn versus Chris Eubank Jr., which is a fight that kind of, on some definitions, shouldn't have happened. It was a spectacle rather than the true fight built off meritocracy. And now we're talking about a YouTuber thing, like the future of boxing here. I'm not saying it's bleak. I just think it's different.
No, but I know. Like I joked about the Jake Paul thing, but I watch that with my kids right here, and they're like, "I look at him, Dad. He's not moving around." It's like, to me, Mike Tyson is. I'm 44 years old. I remember Mike Tyson. Yeah. So, but my kids are thinking now that Jake Paul is up there with Mike Tyson. That's what they're thinking.
You can't let her. You can't let her. You're gonna have to. You're gonna have some stern words here, mate.
You need to sit down with your boys, mate, and watch them the Mike Tyson fights from the 90s.
I've done it. I've done it and stuff. But they're like they see this, but they play FIFA and stuff. They get all the cards and that of like all the legends, and they're like, right, okay, Mike Tyson's a legend, right? Yeah, Jake Paul fought him. I was doing well against him. That's what the youngsters see these days. And people are going to boxing gyms because of Jake Paul. I'm just saying, like, what the guy's done for the sport. I know everyone's on his back, but he's got everyone talking. Hence, like, why I'm calling into your show. And I'm thinking, look, let's give the guy a chance. Maybe he ain't that bad. He is a YouTuber, right? But maybe, just maybe, this is a bit of the future.
This is the future of boxing. Boxing's in the gutter.
Do you reckon?
Yeah, of course it is.
It can't be this.
This can't be the future of boxing. We can't have people who are big on YouTube all of a sudden fighting world champions.
This is a stepping stone
Well,
for
not the future. That is not what you want for the future of boxing.
This isn't that, Paul. I'm sure it isn't that, Jamie. I'm sure that you can rest assured and be calm. This isn't that. All this is the fight that Anthony Joshua needs before he has his next serious fight, proper fight. Look, we're talking about this, and we've been talking about it for ages, and it is fascinating. If he was fighting the 78th heavyweight in the world, he wouldn't be. But the end result would be the same. It would be a walkover for Joshua. He's just picked a walkover that's going to earn himself 70 million quid, rather than a walkover fight ahead of taking on a serious challenge. Rather than...
Is there any way, though? Is there any way he could lose?
Do you think, Paul? When you've watched him, you think he's got good footwork, Jake Paul?
Yeah, he's got footwork, mate. He's like Fred Astaire, isn't he?
I get you guys, right? Well, look,
good
there's always
footwork to feed on him.
And
mate, he's like JJ
if he gets
Okocha.
a punch on him,
yeah.
Mate, if he gets a punch on him, and mate, honestly, I swear to God, there's always that 1 in a million chance. And if he does get that punch on AJ, that puts him down. This could, put the whole sport in a bit of deadlock. To be honest with you,
I agree with you, Paul. Paul, if it were to happen, if for some reason Anthony Joshua ends up losing this fight, it is not good. I can totally concede it's not good, but it's also completely impossible. There isn't anything less possible in sport than this bloke beating a great like Anthony Joshua. It just can't.
Spurs winning the Champions League. Come on, Spurs winning the Champions League.
I'd say it's. Do you know what? And do you know what, Paul? I would say Tottenham have 10 times more chance of winning the European Cup than Jake Paul has of landing on Anthony
Jake Paul's not that bad. He's not that bad. Come on, he's not that bad.
We've got more chance winning the we got more chance winning the treble this year.
I agree.
Than Jake Paul beating Anthony Joshua. Let me tell you.
Spurs are back.
Paul, thanks for your call, mate. We'll try and squeeze a few more on. Just so you know, the biggest fights of the year, Canelo v Crawford had 42 million viewers. That was on Netflix. Bivol better BF2, 340,000 pay-per-view. Usyk Dubois, 90,000 at Wembley, 50,000 pay-per-view buys. In terms of numbers, this is going to be the biggest fight.
This will drench all of those combined. This will absolutely outweigh all of that. There is not look. Baturbiev versus Bivol. Like Dimitri Bivol's one of my favourite fighters. Like he's a glorious fighter. Like incredibly astute. Just like a true noble boxer. Adopts the actual art of boxing. It's a travesty what I'm about to say, but an artist like Bivol can't compete with the power of Paul's fanfare. The numbers that Jake Paul can garner are just incomparable to anything that you said there. This will be, I'll say it again, and I don't say it with delight, but I say it again, this will be the biggest fight of the year.
Unbelievable. Right, we're going to turn our attention to England last night. What do we make of our number 10 situation? Do we need to lay off Jude Bellingham? 03 717 22 33 44.
From the Toffees to the Tractor Boys, the Eagles to the Seagulls, Gunners, Bees, Hammers and Magpies, Premier League teams have got a load of crazy nicknames. Ever wondered where they came from? Let's start with Everton. They're dubbed the Toffees, but why? Well, because when the club was formed, just down the road there were two local toffee shops. Ye Ancient Everton Toffee House and Mother Noblet's Toffee Shop were big fan favourites. Next, they say if you can't beat 'em, join 'em, and that's exactly what Ipswich Town did when it came to their nickname. The term Tractor Boys used to be chanted by their opponents as a way of putting the team down for their farming background. But during one game back in the late 90s, Ipswich were 1-0 up and they decided to flip the script. 1-0 to the Tractor Boys, they sang, and a new nickname was born. Let's head to Leicester, famous for more than just a red, well, orangey cheese and Jamie Vardy. Leicestershire is also the birthplace of fox hunting, hence the Foxes. Next up, turns out apples are not the only fruit that don't fall far from the tree. Bournemouth's nickname, the Cherries, comes from the fact the club's stadium was originally built right next to a bunch of cherry orchards. This next story actually involves two club nicknames. It started with Crystal Palace. They were having an absolute nightmare run back in the early 70s. They'd been relegated after a terrible spell and manager Malcolm Allison decided enough was enough. He wanted a new nickname, something strong, fast and destined for success. Something exactly like an eagle. But there's more to this one. Brighton were in search of a nickname too, and Palace finally gave them what they needed. In a heated match between the two back in 1976, Palace fans began chanting, "Eagles, Eagles." And some clever Brighton fans came up with the perfect reply, "Seagulls, Seagulls." Not all club nicknames have a crazy story though. Take the Gunners. That just comes from the fact a group of munitions workers in the Royal Arsenal factory in Woolwich set up the club in 1886. On the flip side, some nicknames seem simple, but there's a bit more to them. Like West Ham. The Hammers is actually nothing to do with the ham part of the name. It comes from the fact the club used to be called Thames Ironworks FC and was made up of workmen and shipbuilders. So next time the away end's chanting their crazy nickname, you'll now know exactly where it came from.
You are listening to the Sports Bar on talkSPORT. Me, Jamie O'Hara and Rory Jennings. Still to come, going to be joined by European football expert Kevin Hatchard to go over the World Cup qualifiers. But first, let's take a look back at England's win last night, and they completed the perfect World Cup qualifying campaign. 2-0 win against Albania. Here's how the action sounded right here on talkSPORT.
Thomas Tuchel was brought in with one thing in mind, to deliver the World Cup. Can they end the campaign by winning every game and conceding none? Flicked on and turned over the line by Kane. He scores against Albania yet again. Harry Kane from the closest of close ranges.
That man again, Harry Kane. That's why you don't want to take him off the pitch.
Kane 2-0. Great ball in from Rashford. Harry Kane came to meet it, sends a header past Strakosha, and that'll be job done. They've left it late, but they've got it done. 2 goals from Harry Kane, and England are making history. The full-time whistle goes, and England's campaign ends as it starts with a 2-0 victory against Albania, the conclusion of a perfect World Cup qualification campaign. 8 wins from 8, scored 22, conceded none. 2025 has been superb for England. Bring on 2026. Albania 0, England 2.
Yeah, England won 8 out of 8 in the qualifying thanks to Harry Kane double last night. Jude Bellingham started the game, made headlines over concern about his attitude when substituted in the final stages. Our chief live football correspondent Adrian Durham was on breakfast earlier today talking about what Thomas Tuchel will do with that number 10 position at the World Cup.
I would say Morgan Rogers just about holds it at the moment. Me personally, I would prefer Jude Bellingham to have the shirt. I think he's just a far better player. I love Morgan Rogers. He hasn't done anything wrong. I think Cole Palmer's struggling to get on the plane, if I'm honest. I've thought this for a while now. He's played 64 minutes under Thomas Tuchel, and he was terrible, as was everybody else, in the away 1-0 win against Andorra. That's all Thomas Tuchel's seen of him. So If it's picked tomorrow, the squad, obviously it isn't, but if it was picked tomorrow, Cole Palmer doesn't get in. Even if he gets back fit, he's still got a bit to prove come those March friendlies. So he's not been part of the group, and he's big on the group being together. Thomas Tuchel, I think we'd all agree that's a good thing. And he hasn't seen him play. In the back end of last season, Cole Palmer wasn't great. He has flashes, he has moments. I'm not convinced he's going to be at the World Cup. I think Phil Foden is way ahead of him.
That was Adrian Durham there speaking about it. I'm quite amazed he's come out with that, to be fair, because, look, I understand Cole Palmer's injured at the moment and he needs to get back on the pitch. You watch him week in, week out at Chelsea, Cole Palmer's unbelievable.
Yeah, he's one of the most talented footballers I've ever seen. He really is. He's up there with, like, you know, as a kid going to Stamford Bridge, I always think of the greats, like Ruud Gullit when I was a kid, really got me off my seat. Gianfranco Zola was something like I'd never seen before. It was so inspiring. More recently, Eden Hazard, Arjen Robben, when I was a bit young, like they were the kind of players, and Cole Palmer fits that mould. I think he's a superstar. I think he's a genius, and I believe that he certainly goes. I really do. I generally find myself agreeing with Adrian Durham, but on this one, we are polar opposites, because I think that there is no way in this world that England can go to a tournament and not take a proven match winner like Cole Palmer. Every time, Jay, every single time Cole Palmer's had an opportunity to shine at the top level, he's done it.
Yeah,
Like,
he was
scored
unbelievable in that
Euros.
Club World Cup as well.
Club World Cup. So he's playing in New York City in front of the president against the European champions, and he's unplayable. Every time he's playing top levels, right? So Chelsea are playing in a European final in Poland. No, it's not the most prestigious European final, but we're playing in a European final. We're playing against Pellegrini's team, a good Betis side. And Cole Palmer just ignores Enzo Maresca and wins it for us. That's what happened. Cole Palmer won us that game. So Cole Palmer wins the Club World Cup against Paris Saint-Germain. Cole Palmer wins us the Conference League against Real Betis. In Germany last year, we're playing in Berlin against Spain.
Yeah.
Cole Palmer pops up with a goal. When he was a kid, he's playing for Man City. He scores in the Super Cup for him to win him that. Like every single time this geezer plays at the top level, every single time that the jeopardy is at its highest, the most severe stakes, he shines. I don't see how England could go to a tournament without Cole Palmer. Like, I really don't. Even regardless of injury as well. I think he's got so much credit in the bank playing for England that he just has to go.
Yeah, I think it would be ridiculous not to take him. But he has said, Thomas Tuchel, about players who might miss out, and he can't take 5 number 10. So there might be someone who misses out who we don't know. But look, Jude Bellingham has obviously been a huge talking point. He always is, because he's Jude Bellingham. His performances over the last couple of games have shown that he's still a massive part of what England could do going forward. There's been a lot of stuff on social media about his attitude and him being a team player. And when he got subbed off, he got asked about it, Thomas Tuchel, and
He weren't happy.
He weren't happy about coming off, but no one wants to come off when they're, no one likes being taken off if you're dominating a game and you're playing well. We got man in a match, so
I guess there's a way of doing
What do you think of the whole Jude Bellingham saga? Do you think we need to lay off him a bit?
Not really. I don't think we need to lay off him, because I don't think he cares. And I actually think that he's the kind of player who thrives in this. I think that it's one of those weird situations where I sort of think that everyone's right. If you're saying Jude Bellingham needs to calm down, like Thomas Tuchel keeps talking about this brotherhood that he's trying to foster in the camp, and you don't create a brotherhood by moaning when you see Morgan Rogers warming up. Like when you're his teammate, when you're Morgan Rogers' teammate and you see him warming up, you can't start throwing a strop. On some theory, there's truth in that, right? But Jude Bellingham's ego is what makes him our superstar. Jude Bellingham's ego, Jude Bellingham's anger, Jude Bellingham's venom, Jude Bellingham's aggression is what makes him so brilliant. Like, when Wayne Rooney was utterly brilliant, like, truly unrivaled, and one of the best footballers I've ever seen play, it would be like saying to Wayne Rooney, calm your temper down, mate.
Well, that's what we did.
Yeah, but you can't do that to a player like Rooney. Rooney needs to play on the edge. Rooney needs to be a player playing on the edge. Jude Bellingham needs to be a player playing with the
I know, but I remember Wayne Rooney when, he was at the start of his England career, and there was a lot of talk about him saying, he's got to calm down. He's got to calm down.
I think it's so wrong. I think that what Thomas Tuchel's job is, it's not to calm Jude Bellingham's ego. It's to foster it and get it channeled and firing in the right way. Like, what you don't want to do with Jude Bellingham is calm him down. Like, he's a superstar.
Yeah.
Jude Bellingham is more likely to win England a World Cup than anyone else in that squad. Like, he is the player that's most likely to do it. He's the player that shines, burns brightest, can play when the pressure's high. Like, the geezer went to Real Madrid, won the European Cup and the league in his first season, and scored about 1 billion goals in the process.
Yeah.
Like, let's remember how brilliant he is. Should he be a little bit less moany? Maybe. Should we stop calling it out? Probably not. I think everyone's sort of doing the right thing here, including Bellingham.
Do you feel like the press, though, the media, we build players up? We've seen it in the past. Rooney, Gaza was the one that we built up the most to knock them down. Do you feel like there's an agenda against Jude Bellingham?
I think in England, in the UK, we don't necessarily like arrogance. I think as a country, I'm talking, not as individuals. I think as a country, we don't like arrogance. We always, as a country, support the plucky underdog, don't we? We don't necessarily like the front runner.
Yeah.
We don't like people who are arrogant. Like, you know, when Jude Bellingham celebrated in Gelsenkirchen off the back of scoring a bicycle kick in the last second and he went, who else?
Yeah.
I think a lot of people went, who does he think he is? Whereas I think you're allowed to, who else? You did it. What do you mean, who do you think he is? He's the geezer that's just kept us in a tournament.
Yeah.
He's the geezer that's given us a chance of winning it. But look, Jay, you've played with and against some of the greatest players of a generation.
Yeah.
Right? In fact, you've played with and against some of the greatest players to have ever lived. All these players that we talk about, they all have an edge, don't we?
Oh,
like you mentioned Gerrard earlier. Gerrard got sent off.
Yeah.
Played with a bit of a chip on his shoulder.
Gerrard had arrogance.
Aggression.
Yeah.
Filth.
Ronaldo has arrogance. I mean, Dimitar Berbatov is one of the most arrogant people I've ever met.
Really?
Yeah. But you had to rate it, and I loved it about him because that was what he was about, and that's what made him great. Yeah. I think people forget arrogance and self-confidence, and there's a fine line between both. You know, you can get arrogant people out there who think they're better than what they are.
Yeah.
But Jude Bellingham is as good as what he thinks he is.
If you've won a European Cup at Real Madrid, you're allowed to be a bit arrogant. Like, I've got no issue with it. The problem I have, in a way, isn't with Bellingham at all. I love him, and I love his approach. The problem I have a bit is I think it's not necessarily in line with what Tuchel's trying to build. Tuchel seems to be building this team of brothers. He keeps talking brotherhood, doesn't he? Every time he talks brotherhood. He's trying to create this kind of harmonious camp. And I don't know if Tuchel loves Bellingham. I'm not sure he does. Like, this isn't the first time that he's called him out. You know, he said that this isn't acceptable. He said that this is a bit of a problem. Obviously, we've had that saga that we had in the past, you know, when Thomas Tuchel's mother, I think it was, called Bellingham repulsive.
Yeah.
Called his behaviour repulsive. So I think that there is a little bit of friction there, but I think that Bellingham's allowed to be arrogant. Tuchel's job is to get that arrogance and belief and ego funneled into a way that makes Jude Bellingham the player of the tournament in America next year.
Would you start Jude Bellingham?
100%. England aren't good enough to have Jude Bellingham. What? Jude Bellingham sits on a bench and watch Morgan Rogers play football? Like, I don't mean it to be in a disrespectful way to Morgan Rogers. I like him. I think he's a wonderful footballer. I rate him incredibly highly. But you cannot have Jude. That becomes a problem, don't you think? Look, what do you reckon? Jude Bellingham sitting on the bench at a World Cup becomes a distraction, doesn't it?
I think that's what Thomas Tuchel's worried about.
Well, so you potentially don't take it. If you want to play Rodgers, you can't have Bellingham there as a distraction.
I don't think you can have Bellingham sat on the bench.
No, I don't either.
I just don't think you can. I think it
he has to
creates
start?
this whole saga around the World Cup. Yeah, headlines. Jude Bellingham's on the bench.
Yeah.
Jude Bellingham. There'll be pictures of him, you know, sat on the bench.
So he'd look
moaning,
upset, yeah.
not
Also-
looking happy.
Also,
When
the
probably
second Morgan Rogers misses a pretty difficult chance, the cameras immediately pan to.
That's the problem you've got. But I think you have to I think you're absolutely right. I think Thomas Tuchel's got to find a way of finding his arrogance and his nature, because he's one of them types of footballers that plays on the edge, plays with a bit of an arrogance. You've got to find a way of getting the best out of him.
We've got, and do you know what? I find it quite frustrating when we position something that is a gift as a problem. What England in my lifetime have had problems. Graham Taylor had problems in England because he didn't have the personnel. This problem isn't a problem, it's a gift, but it just needs solving. Phil Foden, Jude Bellingham, Cole Palmer probably can't play in the same team. Morgan Rogers probably can't. All of those can't play in the same team.
No.
So perhaps Phil Foden has to sit out. Perhaps Cole Palmer. But I don't think it can be Jude Bellingham. I think Jude Bellingham just has to be in the team. How you make it work, I don't know. Kane likes to drop deep. Bellingham likes to go. It's a little bit ugly when you think about the way that it's gonna link up. But this is Tuchel's job. This is why he's on the big bucks.
Okay, you can have your say on that. 03 717 22 33 44. We're going to be joined by Kevin Hatchard. He's going to go over the huge games tomorrow night. Scotland and Wales. 03 717 22 33 44. Yeah, it's me, Jamie O'Hara, and Rory Jennings giving you the sports bar tonight. Still to come, going to be joined by talkSPORT's boxing pundit Spencer Oliver ahead of the huge rematch between Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn. It was a massive bout, and he's going to come on and talk about it. But first, it's time to take a look at tomorrow night's action in association with talkSPORT Bet.
Bring it on with talkSPORT Bet. Stay on the ball with our safer gambling tools. Find out more at talksportbet.com. 18 plus gambleaware.org.
To help take us through all of tonight's action, we have European football expert Kevin Hatchard join us. Right, Kev?
How are we, chaps? You well?
Yeah, we're good, mate. We're good. Loads to go at. Start with Germany. Smashed Slovakia 6-0. Voltemade grabbed the goal. Wirtz, your favourite player in the world, he got 2 assists.
Yeah, he looked really good, which was nice to see. Couple of really good assists. Both for Sané. First one was lovely lofted pass over the top. Second was a great cross to the far post. And that was the best that Germany have played for a long, long time. They were by far the best they've played in qualifying. It was a game they needed to win. And, you know, they were 4-0 up by half-time. So much so they could bring on a 19-year-old, Hassan Ouedraogo. And he scored 1 minute and 42 seconds after coming on. He's only 19 and second youngest player ever to score for Germany in a World Cup qualifier. So, look, there's a lot to fix between now and next summer. But it's a huge result in the context of the qualifying campaign, because for a lot of the campaign, it looks as though they might miss out on top spot.
And Kevin, the Dutch are going to the World Cup. They beat Lithuania 4-0. What did you make of their performance?
Yeah, I mean, again, you'd expect them to win. But I think what's interesting about them is you almost forget sometimes the quality they have across the team. And you almost forget how many Premier League players they have as well. I mean, there were 4 different scorers against Lithuania, all from the Premier League. You look at the way Tijani Reinders has settled in at Manchester City, for example, and some of the big games that he's deployed in and is playing really well in. Cody Gakpo, even though he's got a battle on with Wirtz for that left-sided role at Liverpool, I think is a top player. Xavi scored a great goal, and he struggled at Tottenham. I'm not massively surprised by that. I always thought it was going to take a while for him to settle in and deal with the physicality of it. But they've got a lot of good players. Obviously, in Virgil van Dijk, they have one of the best defenders out there. Verbruggen, I think, has settled down at Brighton after some shaky performances. So there is real quality there. It's just going to be a question of whether they can get that consistency. And like Germany, really, whether they can get that right balance between attack and defence.
If we're looking at the World Cup, Kev, in terms of European teams, who's your favourite?
I still really like France, but then I always say this, but then you look at their World Cup records, won it in 2018, got to the final in 2022, and were very, very close to winning it then. Deschamps hasn't performed as well in European Championships as he has in World Cups. But you look at the array of talent they've got. Mbappe's playing, I think, as well as he's ever played. And you look at the sheer quality. They've got the current Ballon d'Or holder in Ousmane Dembele, one of the best centre-backs in the world in Saliba. So they've got real quality all the way through that squad.
Okay, let's look at the home nation, Scotland. They must beat Denmark tomorrow night, and Wales need to win over North Macedonia to have a home semi-final in the playoffs. Break down the jeopardy surrounding the games.
Yeah, well, for Scotland, it's very simple. This is a chance they didn't necessarily expect they were going to get when they were 3-0 down against Greece. But because Denmark had a serious wobble against Belarus and ended up having to get a late equaliser to draw 2-2, that's opened the door for Scotland. So it's a simple situation for Scotland. If they win, they qualify for the World Cup. If they don't, then it'll be a playoff. And the game against Greece was really confusing in a way because they were awful for the first half and then really woke up once they'd gone 3-0 down and made lots of chances. Should really have equalised, to be honest. They missed some sitters along the way. It's going to be about whether they can energise that crowd. I thought what was really interesting was that Steve Clarke said it's going to need patience. And what you mustn't do He effectively said to the crowd, you mustn't turn on the team early. If they concede that first goal, you can't turn on them. We need you all the way through because Denmark are a good side. But I was really intrigued by the way that Denmark just fell apart, really, against Belarus, because having got the opening goal against the team that's been the worst by far in that group, you expected them to go on and dominate. And they really didn't. Just past the hour mark, they completely fell apart, conceded 2 goals, could have conceded another. And as I say, needed that late equaliser. As for Wales, it's a strange situation for them because they are going to have a playoff. As you say, it's what the nature of that playoff is, because what they want to do is win the game and make sure it's a top 2 spot in their group, and that in theory nets them an easier playoff route.
Right.
But North Macedonia are no mugs. You know, they've gone well in this group. Craig Bellamy's been at pains to stress that. And remember, last set of World Cup qualifiers, they knocked out Italy.
That is huge. What's going on with Norway? They're looking very good, aren't they, Kev?
Love them. They're great fun because they've just got so much attacking quality.
Yeah.
You know, we talk about Haaland rightly because, I mean, just phenomenal numbers. I mean, another 2 goals against Italy in a 4-1 win last time out. But Alexander Sørloth's been scoring goals as well. There's the potential of playing those 2 together at the World Cup. I mean, 2... huge strikers who have very different skill sets in some ways, but could be not equally dangerous, but very dangerous as a pair. Oscar Bob and Antonio Nusa have great pace out wide. We've got creativity with Ødegaard in the middle. And the only question's going to be, is the goalkeeper Nilon good enough? And is the defensive unit good enough? Because they're quite top heavy as a team. But you can't argue with the group. I mean, they've won every game. They've had an amazing goal difference. You know, they're bashing in goals left, right and centre. And they've stuffed Italy twice. So that tells you a lot about where this team is headed. First time in decades they'll have made the World Cup. First time in the 21st century. Very, very impressive.
Dark horse to win?
Not to win, no, I don't think so. But I think there'll be a lot of fun to watch. As I say, I think what will catch up with them is the defensive side of it and just getting that balance right. Because how do you fit Ødegaard and the 2 wingers in and potentially the 2 strikers? There might have to be some compromises there. And I just wonder whether there's enough quality defensively to actually see them through. But I absolutely could see them reaching the knockouts and maybe taking a scalp there. But I can't see them going all the way or even semi-finals.
Okay. All right. Kev, you're a star, mate. Appreciate your time.
Cheers, Kev. Cheers, chaps.
All right, it's Kevin Hatchard, European football expert. That was a look at the latest action. Thanks to talkSPORT Bet. Terms and conditions apply. 18+. BeGambler.org.
Bring it on with talkSPORT Bet. Stay on the ball with our safer gambling tools. Find out more at talkSportBet.com. 18+, gambleaware.org.
Right, up next, we're going to have a look at Anton Semenyo's situation. Could he be on the move this January? 03717 223344. Apparently, he's got a release clause in his contract in January for £65 million. Spurs, get on the phone and sign him now.
How are we, chaps? Well?
Listening to the Sports Bar on talkSPORT. Me, Jamie O'Hara and Rory Jennings. Still to come, we've got the rest of talkSPORT. But first, get ready to kick off 2026 in style. talkSPORT and our mates at Virgin Atlantic are giving you the chance to win an incredible trip for two to Las Vegas. You'll kick things off in style with exclusive access to Virgin Atlantic Clubhouse Heathrow, then flying upper-class comfort, live flatbeds and premium service all the way to Vegas. Once you touch down, you'll check into a spa villa for 4 nights. Cheer from the stands as the Las Vegas Raiders take on Kansas, and we're throwing in $5,000 cash to play with while you're there. So clear your calendar, January 2nd to the 7th, 2026, because this could be the greatest start to a new year you've ever had. Good luck.
21 plus, UK excluding Northern Ireland. For a chance to win, text WIN to 83338. Text at £2 plus standard network rates. Bill payer's permission required. Or call 03434239761. Calls are charged at standard rate. All entries must be received by the 28th of November at 4 p.m. This is a network promotion. Run across talkSPORT, Virgin Radio UK and Talk. Full terms and conditions at talksport.com.
Right, now talkSPORT understands Bournemouth's Anton Semenyo's £65 million release clause that becomes active in January. Man City, Liverpool, Spurs, all interested in the 25-year-old. Bournemouth have reluctantly accepted that they may be powerless to prevent Semenyo from leaving the club as soon as January, even though desire to retain him until the end of the season. Rory, how good is he?
I mean, Jamie, in terms of discussing how good he is, I don't know if I'm intelligent enough, articulate enough to do him justice. I think he's a class act.
Yeah.
I think he's a top-tier player. I think he elevates any team in the Premier League, literally any team.
Yeah.
There isn't a team that he couldn't go to and make better. He immediately makes Liverpool a better team. He immediately makes Manchester City a better team. He immediately makes Arsenal a better team. And if you're making those teams stronger, the rest of the Premier League follows suit.
Yeah, the thing is why I think Spurs should go all out. If he's got 65 million release clause, we should throw everything at him to get him. Don't mess about. Don't have an Eze moment, where you're and ahhing about it. You're trying to just get the deal done, say what you want, and pay him the fee. And if we can get him in January, he's a massive asset. And the reason why I think we could get him, you're right, he could go to Liverpool, he can go to Man City, he could go to Arsenal. But Arsenal have got Eze, they've got Martinelli. They've spent a lot of money on players as well. Liverpool, so have they got that? They need Mark Gay more than anything, really, in January. That's the player they should sign. Man City have got Doku. So for me, Semenyo is the perfect fit for Spurs to go and get him. Go and make it happen. Spend the money, get him in. We need a left winger.
I think he'd be good.
We're crying out for a left winger.
Yeah, I think you're right.
They haven't replaced Son.
He'd be a good player for you. He's also the kind of player that I think chimes with the way Tottenham fans like the game to be played.
Yeah.
Tottenham fans would love him, wouldn't they?
He'd be the best player we've had there for a while.
Yeah, he would.
So good.
He would. So direct, so proven as well.
It would annoy me, though, if it comes to January and if it's not the 1st of Jan and we're not knocking on their door and saying, right, we want him, here's the 65 million. Don't go in there and lowball and say, would you do 60 or, 55? This is what Tottenham do.
Everything. You know when you look at his attributes, both feet, brilliant. Like, brilliant vision, great assists, great finish on him, clinically proven in the Premier League. I think he'd just be a perfect player. And I think everybody's going to be sniffing around him. And the teams that were linked with him in the side, I think Liverpool were linked with him fairly recently, actually. He could have gone to Liverpool.
Yeah.
Obviously, Tottenham were linked. Manchester United were linked. He ended up staying at Bournemouth, signing a new deal. All of those teams that potentially could have got the deal done, they're looking at him now going, what have we done? Because they didn't force it over the line. And he's been one of the best players in the Premier League this season. Class act.
I just hope when it comes to it that we get him. Because if we don't, and he's available and he ends up at another Premier League club, I'm going to pull my hair out at Spurs. I will pull my hair out.
Yeah, I mean...
when I watch the players that we've got playing in that position, they're not good enough.
If you're him as well, I think, look, I mean, I feel like Tottenham, you've brought Tottenham up for obvious reasons. But I think it's quite a strong shout, even if you remove your natural bias towards them. I feel like Tottenham makes sense for him.
Yeah.
It's a big club. It's a promotion in terms of the team that he's playing for. You're a team in the Champions League. Tottenham for Semenyo, I think it sort of makes sense. And crucially, he immediately starts. Whereas, at the other clubs that we mentioned, there is Look, I think he's a far better player than. Look, I think he would start for Arsenal. But
Think
Leandro
he starts for
Trossard.
Arsenal?
I think he starts for Arsenal, but Leandro Trossard's a good player.
He's playing well at the moment.
Leandro Trossard's a very good player. So it isn't just Tottenham. He's almost first name on the team sheet.
Yeah.
The day he arrives.
Yeah.
So
He walks in the team.
Yeah, walks in the team. Absolutely. And he would also elevate your squad. You know, you think of what Frank could do to him. You look at the way Frank got players like Mbermo and Witter playing. Think about what Frank would do to Semenyo. Like, it could make him like a real, genuine, world-class player.
Oh, be absolutely.
Do you think? Are you saying this just out of pure fan?
No. I think we're interested in him.
You think there's any?
There's a
chance
lot of talk at Tottenham about him.
Yeah.
But it's been from the start of the season, and look, we got Kudus. We signed him for 60 million quid, and then we brought in Xavi Simons, and people thought Xavi Simons could be the answer on the left, but he's not. Xavi Simons is a number 10.
No.
We thought we could play him on the left, but you can't. And we've got Odebear out there. Richarlison's played out there. We need a left winger. Son left. We haven't replaced Son.
Also, I feel like everything's kind of fallen your way because at one point Manchester United probably could have signed him.
Yeah.
But now they've signed Mbermo, Cunha.
Yeah.
Is there room for him in the team? Obviously, he's a good player, but is there room for him? Obviously,
No.
Liverpool.
I think he's the one that hasn't been signed that everyone would still want. But they've gone with for whatever reason. He didn't move.
Yeah, Liverpool can't really sign him.
And I think we had his coach on, like his personal one-to-one coach. Yeah, and he trains him and he trains a few other Premier League stars, and we had a chat with him, and he was like his ambition, Semenyo, to play at the highest level is there. He knows where he wants to be.
Well, also he's clearly a Champions League footballer. Like, he's clearly a player that should be playing in the Champions League. So realistically, he's only going to go to a team that are in the Champions League. Yeah. You can immediately discount Liverpool for the reasons that you pointed out. They've got other priorities. I think you discount Chelsea because he doesn't really fit our profile. So we're out of the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Newcastle have signed Visser. They've already got Anthony Gordon. You kind of discount them. Arsenal are the best team in the country on current form. They probably don't need him. They spent a lot of money in the summer.
Yeah.
It kind of leaves Tottenham, doesn't it?
Tottenham's the one, mate.
Yeah, it kind of leaves Tottenham.
Tottenham's the one.
Unless Manchester United could rival you here. If they decide to, I don't quite know how you make it work, Brian Mbermo.
I don't think he can play, but if I'm Semenyo and I'm looking at it in the formation that they play, I don't think he fits the team. I don't think he fits the team.
No.
He likes two number 10s.
I agree.
Semenyo's not, he's not a number 10, he's a winger.
I agree, but some players you break the mould for. And I feel like whether Semenyo fits your system or not, whether you need Semenyo or not, everyone needs Semenyo. One of the best players in the league and potentially going on to be one of the best players in the world. Like, he's clearly destined for true greatness. I think he's a brilliant player. So if Manchester United wanted to make it work, I probably agree with you. There isn't room in the team, but they were very keen on him a little while.
You're a Chelsea fan, you'd be gutted if we got Semenyo, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I wouldn't want you to get some. No, I desperately don't want you to get some. not only because I think he's a brilliant player, but I feel like he'd do really well for you as well. Yeah. I feel like Frank would do well, and I think he'd elevate your. I feel like the fans would love him at Tottenham. He feels, the way that the fans were always really buoyed by players like him. Like when I was a kid, Chris Waddle, then obviously Gareth Bale, Ginola. You've always had players like that.
Yeah, I know.
That
we haven't got one of them at the minute.
Yeah,
we haven't got a player.
All that. Like, I remember going to Tottenham when Bale was in the team, and the fans were singing like he was born to play for Spurs. Like, that's what they used to sing about Bale, and it feels like they could amend that chant to fit Semenyo.
He was born to play for Real Madrid in the end, wasn't he?
Yeah. But the way that Tottenham fans see the game, they love that player, don't they?
Yeah.
That kind of like expressive player, and Semenyo's that.
Yeah, let's go to Inda. He's a Newcastle fan. All right, Inda?
You right?
Yeah. Look, we're talking about Semenyo. You'd have him at Newcastle, wouldn't you? Is he better than Gordon?
Oh. You know what it is, all right? I feel like with Gordon, I don't know. It's not so much about Gordon. I think it's about Dan Burn. I don't think he's he's not good, Dan Burn. Like, genuinely. I feel
Burn?
Yeah.
Why are we comparing Dan Burn with Semenyo?
Wait. What position does Semenyo play? I forgot.
Centre half, right?
Oh.
You're talking about the centre half.
He's a good player at centre half, Semenyo.
Yeah. And Dan Burn a winger.
Wait, what?
In Semenyo, where do you want him to play for Newcastle?
Oh, no, wait. So, I want him to play, right, left back, right? I think it's true. No, trust me, it's true.
You want Semenyo at left back for Newcastle?
Yeah.
Okay, who do you want? This is quite interesting. Who do you want up front?
Up front? Jeez. But it's obviously going to be Waltmader, isn't it?
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, right, sorry, I'll just check. Okay,
Just
fine.
checking.
Yeah.
So for you, Semenyo's the perfect replacement for Dan Burn.
Yep.
Okay.
Do you not think? I mean, like,
Talk me
I don't
through
know.
this. No, I think he'd do a great job there. Yeah. No, I think it'd be perfect for you.
No, because, like, Dan Burn, right? Yeah, I love him, right? He's a good hype man and all that, right? But, like, if he didn't have the physicality, right, he wouldn't be a good player. Do you know what I mean?
No, I don't know what you mean. So you're thinking Semenyo's the one that comes in and makes a difference at left back?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, what attributes do you think Semenyo has that would make him perfectly suited to play in Eddie Howe's back four?
Yeah. I mean, listen. He's fast, all right? He's fast.
Yeah, he's
fast. All right.
He's fast.
He's fast.
Come on, man.
Can't
Come
argue
on,
that.
bro.
No, he's fast.
No, I'll give you that.
Yeah.
What about his defensive capabilities?
Yeah, I need some help.
Okay.
So who plays? So what are you thinking? Semenyo behind Gordon?
Yeah.
And then they could get like the overlap thing going on.
Yeah. I can't be too loud though, because like otherwise my mum will hear me.
All right. Inder, thanks for that, mate. Brilliant. Absolutely amazing.
Insightful stuff. I appreciate that.
Semenyo at left back for Newcastle.
I like that. I like how he's whispering in case he wakes his mum up.
Brilliant stuff. Inder's gonna. I mean, if it happens, it happens. But I can't see it. We've got back pages coming up next. listening to the Sports Bar on talkSPORT. Me, Jamie O'Hara and Roy Jennings are going to be joined by former Ireland captain Andy Townsend to go over the huge win for them last night. But first, it's time for this. Back pages, Jack Cunningham. Right, Jack?
Evening, lads. How you doing? What on earth was that Newcastle fan on about? Semenyo at left back. Right, no worries. Yeah.
Hey, you never know, mate. Might do a job there. Might do a job, son.
He's digging out Dan Burn. He was like, yeah, who's better? Yeah, Semenyo at left back. Yeah.
Right, let's get into some back pages. We've been talking about it all night. Joshua to face YouTuber in US for 70 million.
Yeah, it's been confirmed December the 19th. It's happening. Anthony Joshua is fighting Jake Paul. It feels like it's something that you see in a film or something the Simpsons would talk about. It doesn't feel like it's actually real life, but it is actually happening. And look, he's going to get £70 million for it, so I suppose you can't really argue with it. There's obviously a lot of issues. I mean, Gareth A. Davis is totally against it being a professional fight. He thinks that the only reason it's in Florida, Miami is because they can get it licensed easier, so that's why that's happening. And I don't know. It's probably potentially even dangerous for Jake Paul, to be fair. I mean, look, the guy lost to Tommy Fury in a fight, and then he beat 58-year-old Mike Tyson. You know, it's not Mike Tyson of back in the day, is it? So I feel like he's never fought anyone anywhere close to this level of, AJ. Obviously, the last few years have been bad for AJ, but equally, he is still a two-time world champion, heavyweight world champion. And has beaten some of the biggest names in the game as well. So he's still got the quality, still got the ability. And yeah, Jake Paul could be seriously hurt, to be brutally honest. It does feel like, from Joshua's point of view, it's a quick payday. You would expect it to be over pretty quickly. If he somehow lost or, performed badly or whatever, I mean, that would be so embarrassing. And it would probably be the end of his boxing career. Then that would just be, that's it. Mm-hmm. I think people are talking about his legacy, and I sort of get that as well. But equally, I do think that he's probably is just seeing it as like, right, okay, I'm going to make a lot of money from this. Probably a lot of viewers are going to watch it, and I'm going to move on. And then he's going to probably try and fight Tyson Fury, and that'll be another that'll actually matter, that one. But this is nonsense, to be fair.
Yeah, fair. There's a story here, Jack, in the Daily Telegraph by John Percy about Nottingham Forest potentially having to sell Elliot Anderson for 100 million quid.
Yeah, so Nottingham Forest, of course, signed Elliot Anderson from Newcastle last summer, a deal that involved Vlachodimos going the other way, sort of a PSR deal for Newcastle. Look, he's become an absolutely incredible footballer at Nottingham Forest. We're talking about England's starter. I mean, Tuchel said at the moment he sees Anderson and Rice as his midfield too, and then the rest of them have got playing catch up. Yeah. But Manchester United have been linked, Newcastle have been linked. Of course, Newcastle would want him back. He is a Geordie. That might play a part. Manchester United are going to want a new midfielder. The way you look at when you watch Anderson play, the way he can cover so much ground, but equally he's so good on the ball as well. He almost feels like the perfect midfielder for that two-man system that Amarin's got going, because of the amount of ground he covers and also equally how good he is on the ball. But Nottingham Forest are not going to sell him for cheap. There's no buyback clause. There's no release clause. They're going to ask for £100 million. And that's rightfully so. He's probably worth that based on the fact what he's achieved so far. And equally, if Forest, transfer values, if there's no release clause, it's what they think you're worth. So if the club think he's worth £100 million to them, then they think he's worth £100 million.
£100 million, an outrageous amount of money.
It is a lot. It is, but fees are outrageous, aren't they now? And if Forest feel like they can get that, they'll ask that. Equally, that is also maybe a figure where they feel like no one will go near. So it's almost sort of a hands-off warning. The issue Forest are going to have, you would think, is probably if they don't get any sort of European football. Yeah. Or anything like that, which, of course, it doesn't look like they're going to get it through the league. They could, of course, still win the Europa League, but they're probably not going to get through the league. So then you're looking at a position where Anderson might probably want to go and play European football or whatever. Then it comes down to, is he going to do an Isak, or would he go about it a different way in the summer? So we'll have to see. It's going to be an interesting one. I think that'll be a big one next season, especially if he has a good World Cup.
Okay. Back page of the Times. Tuchel to visit Trent in Spain.
Yeah, so Trent, of course, didn't make this last sort of squad. The last one he was injured for, and Tuchel has been speaking about the fact that he's going to go and visit him, and rather than a phone call and or video call or whatever, he wants to go and speak to him in person and tell him sort of what he needs to do to get back in the England team. Interestingly, though, he mentioned Jarell Quansah, so playing for Bayer Leverkusen at right back, and he said in his interview, Tuchel, he said that Jarell Quansah's ahead of Trent Alexander-Arnold at the moment. So, you know, and then you've got Tino Livramento to come back into the team. There's Reece James. There's a lot of competition in that position. And if we're talking about probably one of England's most gifted footballers, realistic in terms of technical ability and how good he is at playing football, the fact that we got the England manager saying, actually, you know, a centre-back playing at right-back's ahead of you at the moment.
Wow.
That is a damning indictment of what's going on there for Trent. He's had a bad start. He's only played 5 games. He's been injured. But then when he's come back, he's been on the bench because Danny Carvajal, despite being well into his 30s and just come back from an ACL, is still the preferred choice for Xabi Alonso, probably just because he's still a very good defender. And Trent has never been a very good defender, really. That's not his game. His game has been on the ball, creating chances and dictating things from deep. And at the moment, Xabi Alonso is looking for something different.
Another 6 months of this.
Trent's not going to get in.
Another 6 months of this with Trent. I think the Madrid fans are going to start getting on his back.
You think they're getting on his back?
Yeah. I mean, I know they bought him for free, but he's probably on 500-600 grand.
But they used to boo Gareth Bale. He won him a European Cup.
I know they hated Gareth Bale.
I know.
He won him a European Cup.
Hated Gareth Bale. And you're probably not wrong, actually. It does feel like he's going to have to start getting in the team and start doing something soon, because otherwise, now Tuchel's basically saying his England career is in trouble, and Real Madrid fans are the most demanding fan base in the world, and rightfully so. They're the biggest club in the world. They expect perfection. You know, second place is not enough for them in any competition, and playing badly isn't good enough either.
No, absolutely. And Jack, what else is going on across the talkSPORT website?
Yeah, so it was an interesting interview on talkSPORT Breakfast this morning with Gabriel Bonloho and Stephen Hunt. And basically, Stephen Hunt said that Cristiano Ronaldo is past it at international level and Portugal are better off without him. I mean, seems like a pretty okay, I don't know. But if you look at the stats for Ronaldo since Roberto Martinez took over, he's got 9 goals in 2025 alone for Portugal. And yet he got sent off or what have you. And they beat Armenia 9-1 without him. But I still think Ronaldo... Yeah, no, exactly, yeah. So I still think Ronaldo can offer something for Portugal. He's going to be 41 when he gets to the World Cup. It will, of course, be his last World Cup. But do you think there's any way they're not taking Ronaldo to the World Cup?
He's definitely
He's going, isn't he?
He's definitely going. Whether he starts or not is up for debate. You know, like,